book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and today I'm going to be doing the Ed Sheeran Book Tag. Okay, so this tag was just created by Peace Love Books. I just watched her video yesterday. I will leave the link to her video below. It's an original tag, so I thought it would be fun to do. I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan, and yeah, this seemed like kind of a fun tag. So let's get started on it. A little disclaimer on this tag video. I'm going to be talking about a lot of relationships and romances and stuff because that's what a lot of these tags are about. So there may be spoilers to some of these books as I talk about them. It's kind of hard to avoid some of them. So just be aware of that. When I pull up a book and you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to stop watching or skip ahead or something like that. Just a little disclaimer there. The first song we have is Shape of You, which I am all about that song right now. I just love that song. This is in a book with amazing chemistry between characters. For that book, I picked The Crown of Embers by Ray Carson. This is from the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy. This is actually the second book, which is my favorite book in the trilogy. I love this book so much. I love this trilogy so much. Such great fantasy. But Eliza and Hector, their love story kind of starts in this book, and it is some of the best angst love story that I've read, but it's just enough. It's not so much that it drives you nuts, but just enough to make you feel it. And their chemistry in this, I think, is amazing. I really love Hector and Eliza. Oh my gosh, this is such a great story. So you have to read the first book really to read this one because there's so much that happens in the first book. You can't skip it. But yeah, this is really awesome. So this is My Shape of You. Then we have Castle on the Hill, which honestly I don't think I've listened to that one yet. It's a newer one. A book with the best friendships. And this one was a little bit harder to pick. I could have picked so many different books, but I ended up on The Earth Dwellers by David Estes. This is actually the 7th and final book to 2 different book series. The Dweller Saga and the Country Saga. And I do have all the books here, so I think I'm just going to pull them out so I can show them to you really fast. So these are by David Estes, who is a self-published author, a good friend of mine, and these books are his bestsellers, and they are amazing. They're YA dystopian sci-fi, and they're so great. So the Dwellers Saga is the Moon Dwellers, the Star Dwellers, and the Sun Dwellers. And this follows a society that's underground because of basically like weather or nuclear holocaust things that have happened on Earth. And so this is like 400 years later. They've built these caves underground for society, and so they're all living underground. There's a caste system, and it's grown farther and farther apart as far as social class. The poorest are the Star Dwellers, and they are the farthest down under the earth. Then the Moon Dwellers are kind of middle class, and Sun Dwellers are the rich. This follows 2 perspectives. Tristan and Adele. Adele is from the Moon Dwellers, and she's actually, her parents were considered traitors. She was captured, and she's in prison when this starts. And Tristan is the son of the king who rules over everybody in the Sun Dwellers. Actually, I guess he's kind of a president or something. I don't know if they call him king, but so they kind of ended up meeting. There's a rebellion going on right when this starts, and they are key players in the rebellion, and then they meet up other friends come along through this series, and it's just an amazing ride, an amazing series. Then its sister series, which has nothing to do with these but takes place at the same time, is the Country Saga, and these are actually happening above the earth while this is underground, but it's the same time period, but it's a totally different storyline. And this one we have Fire Country, which is one of the best books I've ever read. It is so good. And then there's Ice Country and Water and Storm Country. And each of these follows different people, although the story progresses and they all kind of get tied into it. But Fire Country starts with this group of people, and we follow 15-year-old Sienna in this. 15-year-old Sienna, who is one of the greatest characters ever. And her trying to make a difference in her world. And she is tiny and small and picked on, and there's a lot of bullying in this book. But it's all about her coming into her own and learning to grow up, be yourself, find out where her place is in the world. So it's a great coming of age novel as far as that goes, but there's a lot of dystopian factors, a lot of danger, adventure, sci-fi. These books really move fast. They all have a lot of adventure in them. And then the story continues from there. Now, you don't have to read either series. These are independent of each other, even though they are taking place in the same world. They're independent, and you can read this one first or this one first. It doesn't matter, as long as you read the series in order for these 3 books and these 3 books. So, but then what happens is, in the very end of these, he wrote a 7th and final book, The Earth Dwellers, and this combines both series. So it's a conclusion to both of these series, and all the characters end up in this last book. And it's like an epic finale for the whole thing, for both storylines. And it's amazing. I think it's awesome that he did this, but it's so great. So I picked this book for the best friendships at the end, as I get to the end of this, because these characters, these amazing characters that I just love, all end up together, and there's so much camaraderie and friendship between them in the series, and then they all kind of get to be friends towards the end of this, and they can't do what they're trying to do without each other, and everybody plays a part. And I just really, really love this series. It's such a great series. I want to reread it now after talking about it. But yeah, so this is my Castle on the Hill. Then we have Thinking Out Loud. This is a book with cutest romance, and I picked The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, because let's face it, Hazel and Augustus are too adorable for words. This is a very emotional book. It made me cry. It's a beautiful book, but their romance is so sweet and adorable, and exactly what you would want for a first romance. You wouldn't want their circumstances, but for as far as their romance goes, it's so wonderful. They have such a wonderful respect for each other, and it starts out as such a beautiful friendship, which is the best love stories in my opinion. So this is my Thinking Out Loud. Then I have The A-Team. This is a book with characters that you wanted to fix. Characters that just drove you nuts, that you just wanted to fix. And I picked We Were Liars by E. Lockhart for this one. This one, all you know, it's a big mystery, but there's been some kind of tragedy in this family, this rich kid family. And these kids that all spend their summers on this one island that they own on the East Coast. And they have so many issues. The whole family, not just the kids, every character in this I wanted to fix. They all have so many issues, and it's so ridiculous, because it shows you that even money doesn't buy happiness, and money isn't everything. It definitely shows that. So yeah, this was definitely my A-Team book. Alright, and then the next one is Give Me Love, book with your favorite romance. That was really hard to pick. I ended up going with Twilight. I love Edward and Bella's romance, the whole story arc of it. I think one of the things I really like about this series is the fact that we see them from the very beginning in high school, when especially she is so sweet and innocent and never really fallen in love before. And they have this wonderful romance. So much is going on around them, but it goes through all the stages. You know, they have a breakup, they get back together. They go through so many obstacles and stuff together, and then at the end they get married, and it's just, then they have their first child. It just kind of shows the full circle of an epic love story relationship. I mean, a lot of times you don't get to see all that stuff unless it's a really big romance, like maybe The Bronze Horseman or Gone with the Wind. But I really liked how this is a YA book, but it really went beyond those boundaries. And it's such a beautiful romance. You know, it's not the best book in the world or anything, but I still love the romance between Bella and Edward, and I always will. I always look at these books with just kind of a lovely little nostalgia of the love story between them, and that's what made these books so immensely popular. And lastly, we have I'm a Mess, the book that emotionally destroyed you. Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. The end of this book. Oh my gosh, and actually I could pick Mockingjay for this just as easily, but I went with Catching Fire, because the end of this, alright, if you don't want to know the ending, I'm telling you right now, I don't know how, I mean, this has been out for so long, the movies are out, but when Katniss is finally saved and then finds out that Peeta was captured, Oh my gosh, that destroyed me. I was just like, the twist at the end of this where we find out about this plan that they had been making, she knew nothing about it. That in itself was like, whoa, hold the phone here. But then we had PETA got captured and she is safe. And you know it should have been the other way around. I mean, she's the one who should have been captured. She's the one who started this whole thing in motion, and if anybody deserves it, it's probably her. PETA is just kind of this innocent bystander who's just trying to protect and love Katniss, and he's such a wonderful soul. And then Mockingjay takes that even further with what the Capitol does to him, and then at the very end with Primrose. Oh my gosh, these books do emotionally destroy you. At least they did me. So yeah, this is my I'm a Mess song. Alright, so that's my Ed Sheeran book tag. I'm not going to tag anybody specific. This is kind of a new tag. So if anybody wants to do this tag, go right ahead and link me your videos below if you do. I'd love to watch them. I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.